Hello, this is Pretty Guardian, and in today's video, I am excited to be talking to you about 5 upcoming cozy games that I am looking forward to. I was looking at my wish list and I was just noticing this growing list of games. I tried to organize them from we're gonna start at number 5, which is maybe the one that I'm least looking forward to, down to number 1, which is the one that I'm most looking forward to. But honestly, these all look like really promising games. So I'm just happy to be talking about them with you. For me, a cozy game is something that is more relaxed in its nature. It's not like scary or I'm doing a whole lot of fighting, although some of them do have combat mechanics involved in them. So these would be games that are more like Farm Together or Cozy Grove, or Animal Crossing is kind of the big one that everybody knows and loves. But I feel like this genre is really blossoming and I am here for it. So let's jump on in at number 5 with the game Coral Island. Coral Island is made by an indie developer, Stairway Games, and right now they are planning on it coming out in early access here in October of 2022. They've discussed starting it at a $20 price point while it's in early access, and then eventually it'll go up to a higher price point as they develop the game or it reaches its 1.0 release. This is kind of a concept that I've seen done more than a few times, and I think it's kind of fair, especially when you're starting out and the game maybe doesn't have all of the features and content that it's supposed to have. So it doesn't necessarily make sense for somebody coming in to be paying full price for that. Something that I think makes this game very unique is that it actually started out on Kickstarter and was fully funded in less than 36 hours. So on their Kickstarter page, you can see a lot of the promised features. Basically, you're going to be on this little coral island and you'll have a farm that you get to grow and develop and decorate how you want it to. It looks like a very cute, farming, ranching sort of simulator. It's going to have lots of mini games, including apple bobbing and potato sack races and a whole lot more in there. I also think it's really interesting how they've included so many dateable characters. They have this whole list of them, and honestly, they're all really cute. So I'm kind of excited to see what their personalities are like, get to know them through the gameplay, and kind of see who I might want to spark a little romance with in there. You get to customize your own character, which I think is a really cool feature in games that allow it. For me, it makes it feel more immersive and like the character is my own and I'm really able to engage with this world. And it looks like they've got some pretty good customization options in there for that character creation, because it looks like you'll actually be able to select what kind of gait you want your character to be able to jog with, which is something I haven't seen before. And one of the last things that I wanted to mention about this game is during the kickstarting process at their 600K mark, which they hit, was multiplayer. So I don't know what multiplayer will look like in this game, but I think it's pretty promising that that could be an aspect to it. I don't necessarily love multiplayer in these types of games. I would rather developers focus on making a really good game first. But if I'm able to play that with my friends or my mom, for me, that's definitely a win. At number 4 on my list is the game Wildflowers. This game is made by an indie developer, Studio Dry Dock, and they're planning for it to release in September of 2022. I wasn't able to find a price on this game, so I'm just going to jump into what I think looks really interesting about it. So in this one, you don't get to make your own character. You are given the main character of Tara, who is going to the little town of Fairhaven to help her grandma run her little farm. And this one looks really interesting because it is fully voice acted. And oftentimes in games like this, the trade-off with having a preset character is that the story is able to be a little bit more involved. So I'm really looking forward to the storyline, the voice acting, and the setting just looks super cute. It has a lot of fantasy and magic sort of elements incorporated in there. So I think that it'll be a really darling fantasy adventure to enjoy. The game is going to have magic and farming. And right now they're saying there's going to be between 35 to 60 hours of gameplay. So I love a game that's nice and long that I can really sink my teeth into. And this one looks like it's off to a good start. At number 3 on my list is the game Kinseed. This one is made by Pixel Count Studios and is going to be a higher price when it launches, but right now it's actually available on the Steam store for $15.99. So to me, I think that's a really good value. This one has beautiful graphics. They're in sort of a pixely art style, very much different from what we've seen previously on this list. To me, the graphics look a lot more involved than something like Stardew Valley, though. So I'm definitely very intrigued. It just looks so beautiful. This one is a completely fantasy setting, high fantasy. I haven't had the honor of playing it yet. I'm actually waiting for the full release. So right now they've kind of slowed down on giving updates to the game. It looks like they might be ready for a 1.0 launch later in this year. So definitely one that I'm keeping my eyes on for that 1.0 release. As far as gameplay goes, there's a lot of different elements to be had here. So you can run your own shop, such as like an apothecary or the blacksmithy. There is like a new combat rework that they put in there. And one of the things that they promise to have is going to be like a generational aspect to the gameplay. So being able to play like your future descendants and that sort of thing. So it definitely looks very inspired. And the developers, they say this all the time because I think it's like one of their selling points or whatever, but they are the developers who worked on Fable previously. And Fable, for me, is a very like beloved RPG series. So I'm definitely excited to see what they bring to the table with this more indie sort of offering. At number 2 on my list is the game Harvest Stella. This one is not made by an indie developer, it's made by Square Enix. It's scheduled to launch on November 4th of 2022, and it's going to have a $60 price tag attached to it. So my gut reactions looking at it is it just looks so freaking beautiful. It's a little bit Final Fantasy, a little bit Rune Factory, a little bit Harvest Moon. It's definitely going to be a game that's more involved than some of the other games on this list. Like it looks like it has a fairly in-depth battle system, and graphically it's kind of next level compared to what we've looked at so far. That being said, for me with that $60 price tag, they're going to have to deliver on a lot. I'm going to want a storyline and gameplay that's going to keep me engaged for many hours on end. And with the graphics, while I do think they look really good compared to a lot of the stuff that we're seeing on this list, they don't necessarily look AAA to me either. So like I said, I'm like very excited about this one just because of how amazing it looks. I really love RPGs, and so Final Fantasy has a big part in my heart, even though they haven't really delivered for me in their last few entries. This is definitely one that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. I'm going to look at what the reviews look like at launch and that sort of thing, and just kind of decide how invested I want to get in it at that point. It's definitely one that I would pick up on sale though. This game has a storyline that's really focused on the 4 different seasons and a 5th season that they call Quietus, and it's like the season of death where plants and things start withering. So a lot of this game is going to be focused on exploration of their big, beautiful world that they're creating, and also building and developing your base and your allies. I'll be really interested and critical of what Square Enix puts forth on this one. At number 1 on my list is the game My Time at Sandrock. Right now, this game is available in early access. It came out on May 25th of 2022. And it's for sale for $24.99. So this one I'm sure will also have a higher price tag attached to it once it reaches its 1.0 full launch. Right now, I'm holding off on buying it because I think that I want to play the game when it's more fully developed, not when it's like first out there. But what they've put out so far looks really promising. I played My Time at Portia back when it first came out. I put in a little bit over 100 hours into that one, really enjoyed the storyline and the fantasy world building that they had done. This is kind of it's cutesy, but as you explore the world, you realize that it's a a post-apocalyptic world. And so there's a lot of depth to it that comes from that. In this game, they're taking us to Sandrock, which is a more desert region. And there's aspects to that that I really like. I think it'll be a very different color palette, very different artistically from some of the other things that we're seeing. And also, they've actually incorporated gameplay mechanics into that. For example, water and wood are going to be more scarce resources in the environment for you to build and craft with. So it's going to have building and crafting and farming and kind of all those things that we're used to seeing from the My Time at Portia game, except everything just really seems like it's been brought to that next level. It looks like the graphics are better. There's going to be more stuff to do. And the big one with this game is that it's going to have multiplayer in it. Right now, they just finished the alpha testing for multiplayer, so I'm really excited to see what that looks like. And when it's done, I will for sure be playing this one with my mom. That was my list of 5 cozy games that I'm looking forward to playing when they come out. So I'm keeping my eyes on all these games. I hope that you enjoyed this list. If you did, definitely leave me a comment. Let me know what games you're looking forward to. You know, subscribe to your girl if you want to see more gaming videos. You'll be the first to know if you click that bell notification button on there. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. So until next time, this is Pretty Guardian, logging out.